This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Phillippi. My guest today is Gil Reynolds. Gil is a Newburgh artist, and he does a number of things. He does sculpture, he does glass, he's a musician, but today we're going to be focusing on your work in sculpture, and I'm so happy to have you today.
I'm really glad to be here, Lynda. Thank you for having me.
You know, and you said that I looked familiar, and honestly, you feel like a new friend who's going to become an old friend. I don't know how, you know how you get that vibe?
Yes.
I just have that vibe.
Good.
So anyway, let's talk about you.
Okay, well, I've been in Newburgh since 1997.
Okay.
Had raised in Eugene and Salem, went to U of O, went to McNary High School, moved to Monmouth, and spent 11 years there in Western Oregon.
Were you teaching there, or?
I was a student, and I opened my first stained glass studio there.
It took you 11 years?
Huh?
Did it take you 11 years to graduate?
Oh, no. I lived there for 11 years. Yeah, no, I never did graduate, actually.
Okay.
But I was an adjunct professor at Portland State, but I never graduated from college.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, and then moved to Portland and settled. We moved to Sherwood and then Newburgh, and just loved the area out here. Mm-hmm. Hopscotching my way to the Oregon coast eventually.
I think that's fabulous. Well, let's talk about your sculpture.
Well, sculpture is my latest endeavor. I kind of started a new life at 70. I decided I've been doing art glass for almost 50 years, and I decided to break into a new media. And I really like metal sculpture, so I took a class before COVID down, a TIG welding class at Chemeketa Community College.
Oh, cool.
And got some gear, and then just practice, put in the time to practice. And I brought some images along that kind of show what I'm doing in my process.
Sure.
And stuff. So the first piece I have is called Twist, and Twist is a concept I came up with sitting at the kitchen table one time, where it's a form like. Are you familiar with a Mobius strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a three-sided Mobius strip that is all one surface, but it twists around and you can go around all three, touch all the sides. But then I broke it. So here's actually the first mock-up I did.
Okay.
And that's out of chicken wire and masking tape. And then from that I started adding layers and layers of plaster and evolved and sanded it down. And this is the finished shape.
Wow.
So I'm really trying to deal with form and how the geometry and organic round shapes all kind of interact together. So this is a maquette, or a model, which I envision making a larger version that'll be cast out of bronze.
Okay.
So I'm at that stage now where I'm trying to get my sea legs. I'm trying all these different materials to see which ones work. Here's another sculpture that I've been working on. I think the next one up is called Jewel. Mm-hmm. And Jewel was a piece that here's the sketch.
Okay.
So I like to draw a lot. And I have done a lot of figure drawing, a lot of sketches, pastels, painting, that kind of thing. So the concept here, it's actually like it was inspired by a titanium molecule, because it was a proposal for a sculpture in Albany. And Albany, Oregon, is a big titanium manufacturer, one of the largest in the world.
I had no idea that was true.
Yes, World War II, they built a rare metals research lab in Albany.
Wow.
And titanium, niobium, and all this stuff. So I figured if I was going to do a sculpture for the city, it should relate.
Oh, wow.
So that was the last slide, was a cardboard mock-up, and then here's a stainless steel, the finished piece. So it's trying to deal with balance, trying to deal with harmony, trying to deal with rhythm. This one has been modified with a base, and I can use, it was in a recent show at the Cultural Center. They had there it is, the best of.
Oh, wow. So now you can really get a sense of the size.
Yeah.
When you see it in the building like that. Oh,
right.
That's amazing.
And then so the city of Palm City, California wants to rent it for me, so they're paying me to come down and install it in October. And I have another one that's going to go to Akron, Ohio where they actually, you submit to these competitions. If they like it, they hire you to fly out, install it, and they rent it for 2 or 3 years, and then you either get it back or it sells. So these are all problems. So it's a pretty popular shape.
I love it. So wait a second. Okay, hold on that one for a second, because I want to ask you a question about the previous. So how much does that thing weigh?
That one, I can handle it myself, so it's under 100 pounds. It's the first one was stainless steel. The last one is this is aluminum.
Okay, so it's pretty lightweight.
Well, I actually had to put a big, thick stainless steel base that I carry it in and bolt on the base to give it stability, because it's too light without that base, the aluminum. So
what do you do? Just like melt down the Coke cans, or how do you get the aluminum?
Oh, I buy sheets of aluminum.
Oh, you just buy it by the sheet.
Already.
Okay.
Yeah, manufactured. Yeah, right. I drink a lot of Coke. There's a lot of soda.
A lot of Coke and Miller Lite.
I iron them flat.
Okay. Now go back to the next one with your.
Okay, the next one is called Tatanka.
Okay.
And Tatanka this is the sketch. Again, started on sitting drinking coffee in the morning, and I figured this would be a good way to work in a 2-dimensional form, which is your flat sheets of metal, but create a 3-dimensional sculpture. So from there, I went to a cardboard cutout, and this is 2 size, and this is in my studio in Newburgh. It gives me a reference, and I can kind of work out some of the design problems in cardboard, because it's pretty easy to manipulate and change. And then go ahead and cut it, have it plasma cut, and then weld it together. So here are the steel elements that have all been tack welded together. Then all the seams get filled in and ground smooth. And then on this one I did paint. And so here it is, the finished piece. This is on my property right now. I haven't decided what to do with it. But the whole concept here in the Native American culture with the Plains Indians, the buffalo was an integral part of their life. And I was trying to capture my concept of gratitude and balance, because those seem to be the most important aspects of keeping me on track on a daily basis. If I'm in gratitude, I can't be miserable. I can't be upset if I'm being thankful for what I've got. If I'm not in gratitude, then I find myself getting into, oh, this is not right and that's not right. And this. But if I think about what is right and what's good, then I feel like I have a healthier perspective. And the other thing I'm constantly struggling with is balance. How much exercise? How much food?
Oh my gosh, right?
How much, it's a day-to-day concept. So by honoring those 2 concepts, and that's what the Plains Indian did with the buffalo. They honored the buffalo because there was a sense of gratitude, because it provided them with food, with clothing. It's represented in their art form. It was part of their spiritual practice. So I was trying to take that same concept and project that into a symbol, a sculpture, a form that resonated for me. Now, everybody gets different information when they see it. My mom goes, well, it looks like a chicken. Okay, that's fine. Everybody sees what they want to see out of it. But those are the concepts that initiated that design. And so it's just trying to manifest what I'm feeling, what I'm living, and give it a visual interpretation.
Okay, I have to tell you, the buffalo is my spirit animal.
Is it your spirit animal?
Yes, it totally is my spirit animal. I love buffalo.
They're amazing, aren't they?
So amazing, yes.
Yeah, and if you look at the impact they had on Indian culture, it's phenomenal. Before they almost became extinct.
Right, when you think about the whole ecosystem of the prairie and how the buffalo contributed to that. Everything, it's just amazing.
Right.
I love that. I love that you did that as a buffalo.
Well, it spoke to me. Spoke to me. I take daily dog walks. I've got a little pit bull, Khaleesi, and she's my shadow. And so I figure she gets an hour of my time a day, every day. The dog, she's my faithful, loyal companion. I can give back to her an hour a day. So we spend a lot of time like at Shampooey State Park.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and so we just walk. And I figure nature has become like my library. That's my reference material. It informs me about color. It informs me about texture. It informs me about balance. It gives me a sense of grace and comfort. So my job is to take that information and then project that back into what I make and to how I live, and use that knowledge that's out there. Just be aware of what's going on and channel that back in.
You know, one of the things that it kind of just struck me when you were talking about the walks at Shampooey is COVID, probably for a lot of artists, it didn't really change your life a whole lot. Because you tend to be sort of solitary creatures and doing your own thing, sort of hidden away from the world in a sense anyway. So how was that time for you?
Well, it was, the initial stages were very scary.
Right.
Because we didn't know what was going on. And I opted for total isolation, and I am a relatively social person. So that was difficult to just cut out all social activity. But then I kind of embraced it, and isolation's addictive.
It is.
It is addictive, and it became a great excuse. Can you? No, COVID, I can't go. You know, sorry.
Totally.
Oh, I'd love to meet up for lunch, but no, COVID, can't do it. You know, and it allowed me to eliminate a lot of toxic relationships. But then I found myself being thirsty, but don't drink the poison just because you're thirsty, you know. Just because you crave being with people is not a reason to go back into those relationships or into that dynamic. So I found that was really healthy for me. I'm still struggling with how do I find that balance? How do I get back? We are social creatures. We're supposed to interact. And it's not, you become overly self-centered, I think, when you're in isolation. You know, part of our purpose is to help others, to share, and to circulate, to build community. Well, then being in isolation is just the opposite of that.
Right.
So again, the balance, how do you balance that?
I mean, did you find yourself like feeling more creative, or did sometimes you find yourself just kind of going into a funk?
I didn't go into a funk.
Good.
No, I didn't go into a funk. I found myself torn between responsibilities and creativity actually being a chore or a good thing or valid. It was like the creativity wasn't valid. I had to do things that were important. I had to pull weeds. I had to clean the house. I had to work, do the laundry.
Right.
You know, I couldn't spend my time. It's like I have all this free time. Okay, let's go draw. Let's go, you know, make something. Oh no, that's not. You go back and do something that's responsible. So that was the dance that I did, trying to find the balance between that. And I did the artist way. Are you familiar with that?
I love that. Love it.
Right. So I've been doing morning pages. Ben Rice is a fellow musician. He got hold of me early on in COVID, and we started doing Artist Way via Zoom. There was a group of us.
Oh my
so
gosh,
we get together
fun.
on Sundays and
check
in, and we did morning pages. And that's been a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I still do my morning pages every morning, or
Good
three
for you.
pages, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing what comes out, isn't it?
It is. It is. I find there's a process where the first 2 pages are rambling and asking the question, and the third page, the answer is revealed. It just kind of like, by just entertaining those thoughts, and it doesn't matter what you're thinking about. You know, it's just kind of like, this is where I'm at.
It's like the deeper knowing.
It is a deeper
It reveals itself once you get rid of all the surface distraction.
Exactly, but you have to sort through them for the
You
first
do.
2 pages.
Yeah, right?
To get that.
If sometimes it feels like this isn't happening, it's not happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, the breakthrough. Ma. Right.
So you've done the whole...
Yeah. Oh yeah. So how do people find you if they want to engage with you for a commission or work or something?
GilReynolds.com. This is my website. It has my portfolio. It's primarily my art glass. I have an email, GLASWIZ, glasswiz with 1 S, at AOL.com.
Not to be confused with Cheese Whiz.
Not Cheese
Oh
Whiz.
my gosh.
No.
Okay.
So they can get hold of me that way.
Okay. And we're almost out of time, but you said you mostly do, your sculpture is mostly for commission work?
Primarily commissions, site-specific commissions.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Right, but I have pieces in the restaurant at the Allison Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
I did the restoration at Timberline Lodge and the Blue Wax Bar. I've done pieces in Dubai, China, all over the world.
So if we go on your website, we'll be able to see some of that work as well.
Correct.
Well, Gil, thank you very much. It's great to meet you, and I can't wait till you come back for your next interview.
Me too. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.